Hey, what's up guys? Gary Walker here, and I'm with Chris at Overtime Athletes. Chris is gonna help me show you guys what to do for mobility issues. You know, a lot of older guys get these knee issues, hip impingements. That's pretty common amongst us older guys. So he's gonna put together a cool little mobility exercise for us. And man, I'm really excited, and
going,
thanks
man.
a lot, man. Excited to be
Absolutely,
working with you.
100%. Good. So we just got into our general warm-up. Then we did a little bit of hip activation. We did a little bit of inversion, eversion across the ankle. Then we worked base support, where we worked dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Really important. I see a lot of injuries from the knee. Stem from obviously anything across the knee that's not traumatic, right? Like, let's say you're playing basketball game, pickup, soccer with the kids, whatever it is. If it's not traumatic, most of the times it stems from the hip or it stems from the foot, obviously. And a lot of times what I see is it's just because certain muscles aren't activated correctly. So if you want to get in the gym, right, and you say to yourself, I want to start doing more sprints, maybe add a little bit of jumps into your routine, you're over 40, you can't just get right into it. Your mindset's going to think, I'm going to be able to go like I did when I played ball or, you know, when I was younger, but I think there's a proper sequence. And as long as you warm up correctly and you really activate the hips, turn on that glute medius, you'll really support yourself or basically reduce the chances of you having that knee injury. So we're going to go more into hip activation, and I'll kind of go through those. Perfect. And like I said, these are extremely important. I have a lot of guys who have, you know, inflammation, things like that across the knee. And once I do a proper hip activation, you'll start to see that they actually reduce that inflammation. They don't get really that tendonitis because the body's working the way it's supposed to. So first one we're gonna go down to all fours. So this is a series of hip activation. We're gonna go two different versions. We're gonna go one with the pause, where I really want you to contract the hips, and then for 3 reps. So think 1 Mississippi pause at the top. Second one we're gonna do is gonna be reflex, so it's gonna be fast, okay? The biggest thing is, as we're in this position, I want you from the belly button up, or even down all the way to the hip. I don't want you moving or rotating that. You wanna try to keep that still as possible. What I tell my athletes is, imagine when you're in that position, there's a glass of water on your lower back. And no matter what, as we do these hip activation drills, you want to not be able, you don't want to spill that glass of water, all right? So you really want to lock that core in and don't rotate. So from here, we're going to go bent knee, toe to the top of the shoe, right? Now we're going to go out to the side, 1 Mississippi, 2, 1 Mississippi, 3, 1 Mississippi, and then reflex, 1, 2, 3. And like I said, really lock that torso into place. Other side, 1. And you want to push that range, right? 3, 1, 2, 3. Good. Now we're going to go out to the side, straight leg. So here is going to be one of the more difficult ones. You're going to want to naturally turn out. You want to keep that down, keep that belly button pointing straight down into the ground. Really focus on pushing to your range, because I could just go here, but that's not my range. You want to really try to drive and actively think to yourself, how high can I raise this without? So it's really here for the first 3,
Gotcha.
Good, so straight out. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Go to the top of the shoe. Biggest mistakes people make here is they'll lift and they'll actually externally rotate out. I don't want you to externally rotate out. I want you to keep that heel going straight. The second one is they like to get a lot of play in that lumbar spine. You still want to lock that in, pretend that glass of water is there, so you don't want to actually dip and move here. You want to keep that straight, tight core, drive. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Other side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Then we're gonna move to lying on our side. Good, again, toe to the top of the shoe. Go to your range. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good, leg curls over, knees at 90 degrees, same thing, inside leg. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good, same thing other side. Good, next one we're gonna do, lying flat on our back. So I want knee bent, toe to the top. Same thing, go to your range, lower back presses into the ground, okay? So we're gonna activate the core here. I wanna go 1 to your range, lock the knee hard, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, good. Other side, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, good. Then last but not least, we're gonna go leg down, drive that heel into the ground. This leg comes up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And remember, go to your range. My hamstrings are extremely tight, but you still wanna go to your range.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, perfect. So that's hip activation with no resistance. Now we're gonna go hip activation with resistance. Again, it's a long warm up, but I promise you, not only will you feel better at your day to day, you'll start to notice when you move, it's pain. A lot of times you'll start to realize, oh wow, it's pain free, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what we're really trying to achieve. Not just to prime you for the workout, but also for life, right?
Perfect.
So first one we're gonna do, we're gonna go legs in. You're gonna go right above your kneecaps. So we're gonna go monster walks, right? It's hip activation for the glute medius, but biggest thing is I try to say when we're moving, anytime we move with this, right, and the band's on, I want knees at shoulder to outside shoulder width.
Okay.
And I want the ankle right underneath the knee. A lot of guys wanna come here and drive out with the foot, but then the knees are caved in. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to drive the knees out each time. So
perfect.
We're gonna go 10 yards down, toes forward.
Okay.
Remember, I want to stay wide with the knees, and then we're gonna walk reverse back, okay? We're gonna bend in our hips, bend the knees, ankle, knees, and hips, sink into an athletic position. We'll come here, walk straight down. Stay wide. Now we're gonna go lateral facing each other, all right?
All right.
Same thing, keep the knees wide, all right?
Okay.
Good, don't let them come in, keep it short and choppy. And if you don't have a band like this, if anybody's, if you're in a chrome and carpet gym, any of those bands that you loop twice will typically work. Anything that you could create with resistance, right?
Okay.
That's all we're trying to look to do. Same thing coming back. Take that off. You actually feel that, right?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a proper warm-up to activate the muscles that you're gonna need, right? So that's really what we're looking to do. And all we're trying to do with these is we're trying to increase, put us through different ranges of motion. We're trying to stretch out the lower back here. We're obviously trying to stretch out some of the groin, the adductors. Next one we're gonna do, I wanna open up now the hip flexors, which is the front, okay? So we'll add a little bit of T-spine work to it. So we're gonna get into a plank position. From this position, I want you to be about shoulder distance, all right? So I don't want you wide outside here like push-up.
Okay.
I want you feet, hands inside. You're just gonna basically drive that leg up. I want that knee next to that elbow, and you're gonna open, you're gonna press this hip towards the ground, and then you're gonna open up this hand and rotate this T-spine. Very good, just like that. We're gonna go 5 each side. Boom. Open up. Good. Total of 10. Good. And think every time you go where you feel that stretch, you just want to try to increase that, even if you're pushing it a ½ inch more each time, right?
Okay.
So you might start off, it might feel a little bit tight. Each time you just want to kind of push that. You're actively stretching it. Nice and easy. Usually what I do for a rep scheme here is anywhere from 10, I usually stay around the 10 rep range each side. I might go 1 to 2 sets. You'll feel that this is low intensity, and you'll actually, most of you guys on this that are watching this, I feel you'll really benefit and you'll enjoy it because you'll feel better once you actually go to work out. Good, call it there. Next one we're gonna do is gonna go hip internal external rotation. That's really big. All these drills, I mean, all these when we're doing anything with hip, you gotta think a majority of the time, unless your guys are manual labor, a couple of my buddies, you know, still manual labor, linemen, stuff like that. So they're on their feet, but still opening up helps. But if you're at a desk job especially, think about what happens is you're in that pattern, right, of sitting all day. I don't need to explain this. You guys have watched a million videos on it. Obviously your hip flexors are tight.
Right.
Instead of us just tugging on it and doing a static stretch, we're kind of going through it actively. So we're killing two birds with one stone. Not only are we elevating tissue temperature, but we're also increasing the range of motion for us to be able to do those. And not only that, when we talk about quality of life, this supports you so when you do go load the spine, let's say you want to go perform a back squat, you're reducing the amount of injury that can occur, right? Because your hips aren't all tight. The next one we're going to do is hip internal external rotation. So going back to our butt. Good. What I want to do here is I want to first start by getting as tall as I can in my torso, right? So I want to stay tall instead of slumped over. Imagine you have a hook right underneath here, right underneath your rib cage. You want to pull that up, try to stay as tall as you can, hands off. If you need to modify, stay tall, but put your hands back.
Okay.
All you're gonna do is you're gonna open up this down knee as wide as you can. Once you can't open it up anymore, you're gonna follow by flipping this knee into the next one and coming down into the other rotation. Good. You're just gonna go a series of 10 of these, that's 5 each side. So open up that knee, boom, and then And then if you can, to challenge yourself to get good, stay tall and rotate and flip. Just like that, good. So you might start off with having to, perfect, that's fine. You can do it just like that, perfect. If you need to put your hands there, you can do that as well. And again, we're just putting it through different ranges. We're exposing it to new movement. If you guys want to go do any kind of movement, you're just going to feel better, essentially because you've already released the synovial fluid in the joints. So not only are you warmed up, but like I said, you've actually put it through a little bit more. Instead of a passive elongation, it's kind of an active elongation of the actual muscles. Good. Perfect. Next one we're going to go to, we're going to go scorpion. So we're going to come here. Actually, let's go frog. So we're going to go 90 degrees at the knee. Now my groin I'm nursing one, so it's going to be a little bit tough. But you're going to go ankle straight back behind the knee. You don't want to have them tucked in under here. You want to go straight back, so 90 degrees at the knee. You want to keep the toes cocked, right, in dorsiflexion here. So what we're actually going to do is you're going to sit the hips back, come down to your elbows, and then you're going to come back forward. You feel that stretch? That groin? So again, anytime we do these, you want to think for each repetition, I'm just increasing it a little bit more. Give me a little bit more. I want to push that range just a little bit more each time.
Yeah, definitely. You want to be able to do this a long time. Gonna prolong how long you can do it. Healthy hips, man. Perfect. I can feel it. One more. Good. Then we'll cut it there. Next one we're gonna go to is gonna be a prone scorpion, all right? So we're gonna go down on our belly. From here, hands out, palms down on the ground. Core tight, chin tuck. I wanna go opposite foot to opposite hand, okay? So I'm gonna reach over this leg and I'm gonna reach and try to touch that foot all the way over there. Come back to the original position. Same thing on the other side. Keep that down leg straight and long and just rotate it through each time. 10 reps each way. Perfect. Try to reach that toe towards that hand. I even tell my athletes to get that toe to actually touch. Good, there you go. And like I said, each time you're gonna go 5 each side, but remember, you wanna just try to increase it. The reason why I do 2 rounds is because once you go through that first round, you'll feel it's almost like you're brushing the dust off, right? And then, you feel a little bit rusty. Then the second time around, now we're a little bit more warmed up, we're a little bit more activated, so now I can increase that range just a little bit more. You always want to fight for that range, even if it's that 1 inch. Instead of just going through the motions, you want to actively think, how can I continue to increase? So as he started on the first one, that foot was coming up maybe halfway. By your 9th, 10th rep, that toe's actually getting to that hand. That's exactly where you want to be, and continue to increase it. So moving on to the next one, we're just going to go right to a supine position on your back. Same thing, hands out, palms down. One leg forward.
the other leg kicking over, touching that hand. So one leg forward. So it's opposite foot to opposite hand. So this leg right here is gonna reach over and try to touch that hand.
Both down, this
Yep,
kicks?
that one down, bang, perfect. Now leg, now alternate. Perfect, good. Now popping up, these are the last 2-3 things that I like to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, I'm kind of just throwing a mixed bag, depending on what we did and what we're doing for that day. Like if we're squatting, I'll add the next set of things. It just depends. You can pull all these and you got to think of them like medicine. You're a coach, so you know.
Right.
If I'm trying to apply certain stimulus to this client, this is what I pull out. So I'm just kind of throwing out a plethora of them.
Perfect.
And you would pick it. So the next two, just gonna be nice and easy squats, right? So
Okay.
what I like to do is first one is go feet together. So we're gonna work a little bit more ankle mobility on these as we go feet together, toes forward. And I want you to try to sit your butt on the back of your heel and go full range of motion without the heels coming up. As soon as those heels start to come up, you're gonna come up. You feel that stretch in the back of your ankle?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. So if you got that full range of motion, perfect. You're just stretching and warming that up and warming that range of motion up. If you can't and those heels start to come up, just stop right where the heels start to come up and think to yourself, I'm gonna go 10 reps and I'm gonna push the pace. Again, you can statically stretch the ankle, or we could do it in a more active way, and that's what this is.
Perfect.
So you're not just throwing your hips back and sinking there. You want to actually you initiate by reaching the hips back, but right here, you want to go straight down, and you'll feel that stretch in the groin while driving the knees out.
Okay.
So it's going to come here, and you're going to push that as much as you can, come right back up. And think about it, most guys, they could do this exercise just, you could do this with a dumbbell and create resistance as an actual exercise, or you could do it from this and actively think, I'm driving my knees out and I'm sinking down as much as I can while keeping my torso upright. And now it acts as a little bit more of an active stretch. Good, you're just gonna go 10 of those.
5, all right. Yeah, it feels good, man.
There you go, perfect.
So I'm opening up a lot already down here. Yeah, that's
just
awesome.
open up the hips, you're gonna feel better. Finally, we're just gonna go curtsy lunge.
Okay.
There's a series of other ones, but a curtsy lunge is one that I absolutely love. It's just a crossover. Good. Stretch it, reach it as far as you can. Perfect. Take your time. Go 5 each side. And some of you guys, this can be your workout, and believe it or not,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of this, what I'm doing, my in-season, baseball guys right now, I have them 2 days a week just basically going through this, and these are professional baseball players. So activation, mobilization, and stabilization through certain motions. So that's it for the hip. When it comes to the shoulder, I'll kind of reduce this, I'll shorten this because there's so many different things we could do for the shoulder. We can get extremely creative here. I'll give you my 2 best when it comes to activation and mobilization.
All right.
One, we're gonna go wall slides.
Okay.
And this is gonna be your activation drill. I'm looking at 5 points of contact, all right? First one that I'm looking for is gonna be your lower back. So no matter what, if these arms come off, the first thing we're gonna do is try to push your lower back into the wall right now.
Perfect.
Good. Drive that lower back, try to smush my hand. Perfect, right there.
All right.
Number 2 is gonna be your elbow. Number 3 is gonna be wrist, so now you wanna fight that wrist. Number 4 is gonna be your shoulder, and number 5 is gonna be back of the neck. Okay? So you're looking at all 5 points of contact at all times.
Okay.
Now, if this is tough, as you can see, his wrist is coming off. And you're fighting that. You're
Oh,
actively
yeah, I
fighting
am.
that.
Yeah, they're working.
People can't see, but it's an isometric contraction. You're actually activating all those muscles
For
down
sure,
there right
man,
now.
yeah.
And you'll feel that when you press that lower back. So if you want to relieve the lower back off. Good, it's a little bit easier now, right?
For sure.
So if you think you lock in all 4, right? Elbow or wrist, elbow, shoulder, back of the neck, and then if you can't get that correctly, just think from here in this position, you're gonna go 15-second isometric contraction, and you're gonna start by pushing that lower back into the wall. So you're gonna fight and go in, fight, 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 fight. 3, 2, time, release. Good, but
Yeah,
you can
man.
feel that
Oh,
it's
yeah,
tough,
everywhere.
right?
Oh, for sure.
Now, that's obviously the beginning point. If you get good at it and you're easy and can throw your arms up there, the next one is to be able to slide your hand up that wall, right? So you obviously try to do it to the best you can,
Right.
but take 3 to 5 seconds, slide your hands up. Remember, maintaining all 5 points of contact. So we want to maintain that lower back, maintain the shoulder, maintain the elbow, wrist, the back of the neck, slide it up slowly. Good, push that lower back. Good, and come down in the same pace. Come down in the same pace. Here we go. Then the next one we're gonna do is gonna be prone swimmers. Guys have called me, call it wide cuffs. I think I got that from Joe DeFranco. But a really great overall movement for the shoulders, especially when it comes to increasing that range of motion. So you're gonna come down into the prone position on your stomach. Good, from here your hands are gonna be straight out in front. You wanna keep the spine neutral, so always tuck that chin and keep that spine neutral. You're gonna lift your chest slightly off the ground. Thumbs are gonna come straight into the air. Good, so point them up into the air. Hands are gonna come off, go as high as you can. Good, from right there, I want you to reach your hands back and around as wide as you can. And I want you to try to touch your arms, your hands above your butt, pull your shoulder blades together. Come back, come down, and down. And that's one repetition.
Right.
Stay as wide as you can. Here we go. Up, come around, flip. Touch your hands, come back. All the way down. Good, that's one. Let's go 4 more. Love it. Last one. Boom, you can pop up. Perfect. The only other thing that I might do is I add a lot of external rotation.
Okay.
Obviously, you know, we're just predisposed to a lot of internal rotation with the shoulder. I just like to balance it out with a little external rotation. You can do that with bands. I like to do it with a light dumbbell. You know, there's various ways that you could do that, but for the most part, those are my 2 bread and butter for opening up the shoulders, really for your guys. If you guys just add those in before you do any kind of horizontal or vertical pressing or even pulling, you'll start to feel that much better.
Let me ask you this, if some guys are not ready to quite work out yet, they want to get all this mobilization done, how often do you recommend this?
If you could, honestly, this is something that you could do too. If you're like, if you're very regressed and you haven't worked out in a long time, this is what I would program for you.
Perfect.
This is exactly what I do. If you came into me and didn't do anything, now obviously I might have to regress it a little bit more because it won't look the same way that you did it. Right? But a lot of the body weight motions, running them through various things, activating the muscles that I know are gonna start to support them to build that foundation, right? I start with across the ankle, I move up to the suspension area, which is the hips, right? And then we also want to attack the shoulders. And then what you don't see is I do a lot of stabilization, right? So a lot of that torso, because that's where you transfer the energy. If we can build that solid foundation of structural integrity, I can then take them to start to move a little bit more actively with resistance, with the weights. And then we can progress to a little bit more athletic movement. They can start jumping, they can start running a little bit. And I do believe even over 40, you got to have some level of running or jumping, because what happens if you're faced with that all of a sudden? Now, obviously, if it's something like fight or flight, adrenaline kicks in and your body could do some amazing things. But if you're just like, hey, you get called out for a flag football game at the family barbecue, and you know what I mean, you start throwing with your nephew and you throw the football or the baseball, you know, for 20, 30 reps, you wake up that next morning like, you know what I mean? So this, to me, this is something that's low barrier that can start to support you and really be able to, A, like I said, reduce injury, but also B, increase performance. Because you can definitely run a little bit better.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Overtime Athletes, I appreciate it. Haven't felt this good in a while, joint-wise, so I appreciate you taking me through that, man.
100%.
All right, yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys.